Hi everyone, Lori Whitlock here. Today I've got two new styles of fold tuck cards that are in my SVG shop in SVG format and in the Silhouette Design store for Silhouette users. So I'm going to first show you all the cards, and then I'm going to go to a device and show you the files, and we're going to cut them out on the little Cricut Joy. You can cut these on any machine that you have. If you have a Silhouette, if you have a Cricut, if you have a scan and cut, you should be able to make these cards no matter what machine you have. So this first style here has some writing on it. This says happy birthday, and then these little pieces here are all cut and then folded and then tucked into their neighbor. It's really easy to put together, and I'm going to demonstrate that for you. Here's a get well one, miss you. This one got into the wrong pile, so that goes over here. Thinking of you, and you'll notice these other designs had kind of a peak, a triangle shape, and this has a circular half moon shape. So congratulations, hello friend, thank you, just because, with sympathy. And here's a happy birthday one that I did on a Facebook Live yesterday, showing two different colors. So if you'll notice, I've done all of these in white, but they also look cool with some contrasting colors. These look so sophisticated and so professional, and they're very, very simple to put together. So how awesome it would be to make a stack of these and just have them ready to go for any occasion. Really, really cute, really, really easy. And oh, I didn't even show you the best thing. To get that color showing through, you just tuck those corners in on the back side of the card. So you can just see you've got a little insert piece. So it kind of makes the inside look interesting too, with a couple of colors in there, white and a bright color. Okay, and then the other design style is this circular shaped one. It's got a piece that cuts and tucks into its neighbor all the way around to make these really cool patterns. So this one's, I'm going to demonstrate actually these two today. So, and then all of them are put together in the same manner. You just take that piece and fold it over and tuck it into its neighbor. They're really quite simple. I think once you see me put one together, you'll think, oh, those look so much more difficult than they actually are. So these are awesome because they leave a little space in the middle, so you could stamp a sentiment in there if you've got rubber stamps, or you could create a print and cut to go in there as well. I really like this one because it's little stars all the way around. This would be great for this summer for 4th of July. Put a little sentiment in there, maybe some navy and red paper. This one looks like it's hearts going all around in a circle, and this one's got a little bit of a decoration here in the middle that's unique. It stands up just a little bit. These do not tuck and fold in the center section. And then here's another sample of one cut out of different paper other than white and a bright color. This is a gray paper with a silver foil insert, and I think that just looks really stunning. So let me just show you that one next to the pink and white one. So you can get a lot of different looks out of these. This is really pretty. It would be beautiful for a wedding or an anniversary. And this one would be super cute for a birthday or any kind of celebration. Again, these have that same insert that tucks in on the back side. So what you can do to prepare to make these is you could hand cut 5.5 by 8.5 inch. So 8.5 by 11 cut in half to 5.5, and then you just fold that in half to a 4.25 by 5.5 to get ready to make these. You could make a bunch of card bases, and if you're using the Cricut Joy, you can just use their little card mat. If you don't have the Cricut Joy and you want to make these from the cut file, I include 3 versions inside the file. One that has the card with the score marks and then the front design, and then an insert that you'd cut to put in. You can certainly use that design. I've also given you one that's just a card front with no fold, so it does cut out the whole card on the front. Then I've also given you a version that just has the cut marks for the cut, tuck and fold area. So I'd like to show you the files, how they come into the iPad. You can control the little Cricut Joy with your mobile device. You can also control it with your computer. And actually, I want to show you, we're going to start out with one of these ones that has the writing and then the cut and tuck area on it. I want to show you what it looks like on my computer. Let me get rid of my little key guard there. When you bring these in fact, let me just delete this so you can see that as I bring it in natively, you can see the writing. Hopefully you're able to see my screen there. Well, that's as bright as it'll go. But you can see the writing on these. And the writing is there. On the mobile device, you're unable to see the writing, and I don't know why. It's kind of a little nuance or glitch, I would say, with the software. You're able to see it on the desktop, but you're not able to see it on the mobile. And let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm just, for the ease of showing this on video, I'm going to go ahead and demo this from the iPad. Because I've already uploaded the files into Design Space, they'll be here for me when I click Open Uploaded Images. And then I'll go ahead and click that happy birthday card and insert. And as I just mentioned, you're not going to see the lettering, and I don't know why. It shows up on the laptop like I just showed you, but not here in the mobile app. But it is indeed there in the file. So go ahead and select those pieces and ungroup. So Actions and Ungroup. And then you can select the pieces that you don't need and just delete them. I don't need that full card. Let me undo that. This was what you would use if you're using any other machine besides the Joy, if you want a folded card. So you would want to delete everything else and go ahead and prepare this on your cutting mat. Let's go ahead and delete that. This one is a card front without a fold, and you can see that the lettering is indeed there. We're going to go ahead and delete that piece because I've pre-cut some insert pieces, and they are, just so you know, they are 4 by 5 1/4. If you want to pre-cut some insert pieces, so you don't have to use your machine to do that, you can be hand cutting those with a paper cutter while your machine is cutting out your beautiful card fronts. So I'm going to delete those 2 pieces, and I have my piece that I need for the Cricut Joy here, and I'm going to select that, and I'm going to go to the layers palette, and you can see that it does have 2 cut layers there, and one is the happy birthday. Now you can either ungroup the pieces and select the happy birthday and set it to draw, or you can just select that layer and change the line type to draw. Let me just go back so you can see that again. If you're not on that window, you would need to click that cut layer, and it'll kind of highlight the happy birthday for you, and then you would go to Edit and Cut Line Type here, change that to Draw and Apply. Okay, and you can see that that has changed that for us. Now I'm just going to select all that and move it over. Make sure you don't separate those. If you ungroup them, make sure that they don't come apart. And you can group them back together, but most importantly, before you send it, you need to change the action to attach so that those 2 stay together when you send it to your machine. When you click Make It, it's going to ask you what mat I'm going to use on the pre-folded card mat for the Cricut Joy. And it's going to place it in the exact right size and position. I don't need to move anything. Don't scale it, don't move it. And you can see that the actions are set to draw and then cut. So go ahead and click Continue. Then it's going to ask us what material we want to cut on. And I'm going to choose my 80-pound, let's see, medium cardstock, 80 pound. And you'll notice that you need to change your tool. You need to change to the black pen. Make sure you do that, because if you don't change, I'll show you what happened to me on one of my cards. It actually started cutting the cinnamon. You don't want to do that. It just ruins paper. So make sure that you pay attention to that and that you take out the blade and put in the pen. And this goes for any machine, no matter what machine. Make sure you're getting the right tool in for this drawing action. Okay, so I've got my pen loaded. I need to grab my card base. We're doing the happy birthday card, so I guess since we're drawing on this one, where's my card base I wanted to use? We're going to use the white card base, and I'll have this blue insert for when it's done. I'm going to go ahead and just place that on my mat, and just so you're aware, this distance is exactly the same on either end. So if you wanted to rotate your mat, if you get too many cuts in this corner, you can rotate your mat. In fact, maybe I'll do that this time. But just make sure you load it in the right direction, because I did that once wrong too. I loaded my card here and I loaded it backwards into my machine. So make sure that you line that up right with the blue edge and then push it down really good. Now I've used this mat several times, so I'm going to really push that down good. It's kind of losing some of its stickiness. Okay, because my machine is blinking, you can see the light is blinking, I can just put my mat right up there and load it in. You don't want to try and load it before that light's blinking. You don't want the mat sitting there all, or else it won't load it in properly. So now it's telling me that it's ready to go. And I'm just going to go ahead and press go. And my machine will prepare, and it'll proceed to write happy birthday in that beautiful script. Let me show you one that's already done so you can see what it's working on. It's doing this lettering right here. When it's done writing that happy birthday, it's going to prompt you to load your fine tip blade. So let's go ahead and load the blade, drop it in there and lock it in place and press go. Make sure you put your pen cap back on so your pen doesn't dry out. Once our card is all done, we'll go back over to our software and click unload. We'll go ahead and remove our card from our mat. You might need a little spatula or something to help release that artwork. You'll notice how it cuts out and removes the 3 triangles at the top and the bottom here. And then everything else is just scored. So we'll go ahead and take our little squeegee scraper, and I'm going to slip it underneath that triangle, but not the inside triangle there, and just flip that back. You can see how I've left that inside triangle down. Don't bend that, or else it'll decrease its integrity to hold on to its neighboring piece that gets tucked in. So just take those and fold them back. It really is important to use some sort of a flat edge. If you do this by hand, they can get a little bit bent and won't be quite as neat. So just go all the way up to that score line, and then we'll just proceed to do the same thing on this other side. I'm going to start on this row here. If you had a longer scraper, you could probably get it under 3 at a time. And then at this point, I kind of like to just grab those and just kind of bone fold them back on themselves. That way you get a good crease there. But make sure you don't grab those little tips there though, because you don't want those to bend. Okay, now we're just gonna go tuck those in. You can use your fingers, you can use a little tool, whatever works for you. Just kind of put your finger underneath on the bottom side and push up on that point, and just tuck that point underneath. This is actually kind of fun to do. It's kind of like braiding, but you really can't mess up. It's pretty easy. And then we'll just flip it around and do the other side. And when you're done, these just look like they're so intricately woven together. It's like you almost can't figure out how it's done. So it's very mesmerizing. I think your recipients will enjoy getting these cards. Okay, I like to turn it to the inside and then again just kind of use my scraper to burnish all those folds in really good. Just make sure everything's laying down nice and flat. And then the card is basically done. So let's just grab our insert piece, and you can play around with different colors for the insert. We'll go ahead and use that darker blue so it shows up just a little bit better here on video. And just tuck those 4 corners in on the back side. Okay, now I have them all in. You can kind of bend that back a little bit till it's seated in place. And there's your beautiful birthday card. Not a lot of effort, no glue, very, very simple and really pretty and stunning. I think people will enjoy getting these, and I think you'll have fun making them. Let's move on to the other style card, and I think I'll use a black card base for this one. Here's some other examples of what the styles are going to look like, but the one I'm going to cut out, let's see, it was green. There we go. This is the one I'm going to cut out. So I'm going to go back over to my iPad, and you can do this on Android devices as well if you're using Android. I don't have an Android, so I'm not exactly sure what differences there might be, but I don't believe there's a lot of differences. You just clean off that card mat. We're going to go back to our canvas and delete that project because I'm done with it. We're going to upload from an image that I already have in here. I'm going to select this green one and I'm going to insert it. Again, I have all the pieces I need to make it 3 different ways: the full folded card, the card front, and then this one is made for the Cricut Joy, and you could also put that onto any card base that's bigger or whatever, but I don't know why you would want to do that. Just go ahead and ungroup those pieces and delete the pieces off that you don't need. I already have an insert piece hand cut here. I cut it out of a glitter cardstock. I'm going to go ahead and delete that piece and delete this card. That leaves me with this card. There's no drawing on this card, so this one's even going to be a little more simple to cut. We're just going to take, and everything should be attached. All you do is press make it. Don't resize anything. Don't change anything. Don't move the position. Go ahead and press continue. While it's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and load my card onto my mat. And again, I'm going to push that down really well because my mat's not too sticky anymore. And I'm going to choose my medium cardstock. Now, if you test this on your cardstock and it's not cutting all the way through, there is a pressure default here. It's set on kind of a medium pressure. There's a more adjustment here. So I'm going to go ahead and press done. And I'm going to do a little more pressure because this is a nice heavy black, probably 100-pound cardstock. And it says to go ahead and load. I can see my light blinking here on the Joy. Make sure you load it with your card base in the upper left corner, even if you've done it upside down, because your mat isn't so sticky in this corner. Just make sure it goes in the right way. It's going to scan the mat, and then you go ahead and press go. And it's going to proceed to cut out this pretty card front. While it's cutting, I'm going to show you how to assemble one of these that I have already put together, because this is the one that's a little bit different. All the rest of them is just a fold over, tuck into its neighbor idea. This one's just a little bit different. It's the same idea, but there's 2 folds and tucks. So I'm just going to untuck a couple of these here. So when it cuts, it's going to cut like this. It's going to cut a square out, and then it's going to cut these 4 lines here. You're going to fold over this one that's next to that center square, but leave this one down, and so you'll fold this one, and then you'll leave the next one and then fold the outer one. So be very careful not to fold these 2, or else you're going to end up with weak places to tuck the next ones into. Again, just to repeat that, here's your inner square. You're going to leave that border down flat and fold the next one. And then you're going to leave one and fold the next one. So then how that looks when you're done is you'll just tuck this outer one into that inner piece there, and you'll tuck, oops, I probably should do the inner one first. We'll tuck the inner one first, and then we'll tuck the outer one, and they just kind of help hold each other down. It's really cool. So let's do the inner one again, and then this outer one. So that's how that one's tucked and folded. We're almost done cutting this one out, and I'll show you how to assemble that one when we're done. Okay, so we'll go ahead and unload that. I've got to go back to my iPad and click unload. And I'll use my spatula to help lift that up. Got that same one hanging in on this one, so watch that little triangle. It wants to be ornery. Okay, you can just remove all the excess from your mat with a scraper. So we'll set that aside while I show you how to fold. Got a couple extra little pieces there. Okay, this is what it should look like when it's done cutting. And to fold this one, you're just going to grab that inner little loop piece there that looks like this and just fold that over. We're going to just go around the whole card doing that. Make sure you get your scraper or your flat edge all the way up to the end of the cut. I did not put any little score marks on that, but it's very easy to fold it over. You want to make sure you don't get any of these other pieces folded, because then it'll just make for a card that doesn't hold in place as nicely. So just be careful as you're folding. Okay, I have all of those folded now. So now I'm just going to take one of them. You can start anywhere, doesn't matter where. And you're going to push up on that inner piece and push down on that little loop and tuck it underneath. It might be easier to do that with your fingers than with this tool even. Okay, and that's all the way around. Again, I like to flip it over and just kind of burnish all those folds in place so everything lays nice and flat, being careful not to catch on anything. And you can go around the front if you feel like you need to as well. But that is how it looks when it's done. And we're going to put a piece of glitter cardstock behind that. I thought that might be pretty. So we'll just go ahead and tuck that into the four corners. It's a really stiff piece of glitter cardstock. Look how pretty that is. That'd be beautiful for a wedding or sympathy card, something like that. So I hope you guys enjoy all these fun new designs. We've got two different styles, one with writing, one without. The ones without writing, some of the designs leave you a spot so that you can stamp a sentiment, or you could even get creative and create your own little, you could put somebody's name or a word in those middles with a pen if you want to, with your machine or by hand, with a stamp, whatever you'd like. Anyways, I hope you enjoy these fun fold and tuck cards, and I hope you enjoy making them on whatever cutting machine you have. But these designs do work particularly well with the Cricut Joy and their new little card mat that they have come out with. So you have your pre-folded card with this mat, and with the other machines you would use the flat design. So hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you in another video. Bye-bye.